what do you think about today? I mean, the results for the Netherlands, are you pleased?
Well, I mean, I think the results are clear in the way that the populist party that was gaining over the last year did not win this election. That's basically a fact now, and that's helpful going forward. The Liberals are to take the lead now in forming a coalition. But it will be a lengthy coalition discussion because there are so many parties now that you need in order to form a coalition with a majority in both chambers, basically, so both in Parliament and Senate, that the coalition will take a long time. The coalition forming will take a long time.
Does that make your job more difficult the longer the coalition talks go on? And what kind of coalition would you like to see?
Well, I don't really have a preference. I mean, this is a democracy. I mean, people vote, and whatever coalition comes out, we'll work with that, right? From an economic perspective, honestly, the delay will not basically hamper the economic growth. We're already growing quite well in Holland. A lot of reforms that need to be pushed through have been pushed through. The budget, there's a budget surplus in Holland already. Most of the parties have some way of some kind of fiscal expansionary program. So honestly, the longer the coalition discussion takes, the better it will be for the government finances. Actually, from an economic perspective, it's not going to change dramatically if it takes quite a long time for a coalition to be formed.
What do you think about the possibility that this stops the dominoes falling in Europe, that the core of Europe won't go populist, and that, say, Le Pen won't win a victory in France?
Well, for Europe, I think this is a good signal, right? If you look at the outcome, that the pro-Europe parties have gained 20 seats in Holland, and the more Eurosceptical parties have gained 5 seats. So there's more polarization around Europe, also in Dutch Parliament. But you see that the real pro-European parties have actually gained more, so which is a good sign for Europe.
How do you guard against, and how would you advise other bankers as well? This is something I find most interesting. The incredible asymmetric risk of a Le Pen victory. Unlikely to happen, and yet if it does, it could be almost catastrophic for a bank like ING.
Yeah, well, clearly, banks are in the world of taking risk, but you need to have sound risk management as well. So the way you prepare is that you look at some of these scenarios and what they could basically cause. A Brexit or a further populist movement in Europe, and what that could mean to the euro. And we've said before that we have our scenarios in which you have to make sure that you basically balance assets and liabilities per country in order to make sure that you have sound risk management in place.
Let me also ask you about regulation. After the G20 in Baden-Baden this weekend, people will move on to Basel to talk about that package of regulations. And in the U.S., the Trump administration is talking about rolling back bank regulations. Does that possibility of a rolling back of regulations in the U.S. kind of, tilt the playing field, give the U.S. banks an advantage?
Well, honestly, I think that if you look at what banks do in the U.S. and what banks do in Europe and the role they play, it's already difficult to create a level playing field. It's like trying to play American football and soccer with the same rules. We just have a different role to play. So from that perspective, forcing to come to some kind of an outcome in Basel is already something that is difficult. And that's why it has taken such a long time. Now, if Basel is further delayed, it's not good for anyone because clarity truly helps. At this moment, lots of banks are stalling decisions as to how to support, for example, infrastructure works and things like that. Things that are really fundamental to economic growth. And Basel could have a very big impact on those kind of loans. So that's why you hesitate, and that should go. So we need clarity, whichever is the outcome.